Rise of Industry review. This is the video game Rise of Industry. It's a transport game. You do not transport people. You're going to transport cargo. There is what's called a resource chain. So you have raw materials, you have manufacturing and then you have manufacturing for finished goods, and you have marketplaces, which are in these towns over here. And you can build roads and railroads and canals, and you can do air travel using zeppelins. So I'm going to go through the interface real quick. These are the type of roads you can build, including the one-way road and the rail track. These are bridges and tunnels. It just does simple bridges and tunnels. You have to start and end on the same ground level. Got warehouses. This is for raw materials such as coal mine, lumber yard, iron mine, etc. These are farms, which are crops, plantation, orchards, livestock. Factories, you have food, paper, toys, automotive, textiles, drinks. It's actually pretty complicated. And when I say it's complicated, it's going to be difficult to make everything in the game. It's harder than you think. It's going to be a bit challenging. It's not as easy as games like Tropico. Tropico has a very basic, if you call it an intermediary resource chain, this is an advanced resource chain. This is to control pollution. These are just another type of factory where you have more stuff going in to produce something. You can do terraforming, which means obviously flattening out the terrain. And I'm going to show you one of these factories. This is where you decide what you manufacture. This is a simple one. It's not that difficult. But if you look at grain whiskey, we got 3 inputs, which are wheat, barrels, and yeast to make grain whiskey. Let's try another one here. See over here, we got a lot more choices. And if you get into things like the automotive factories, it's going to be a lot more. Here we've got a lot more choices. And if you look at something like copper wire, you can imagine how many things that could go into, can't you? It's not the absolute most advanced resource chain I've had, but it's up there. Like there's another game called Industry Manager Future Technologies, which has a very advanced resource chain. So now you've got things like engine blocks and radio receiver, refrigerator, telephones, etc. It gets to be pretty complicated to manufacture everything, because you're going to have to get them from which warehouse to which warehouse. Everything works within a certain range. You're like, this building has a certain range that it will pull from the warehouses, which is set at the warehouse. See over here, it says the range in tiles and how it gets smaller and smaller. So the warehouses get full, you get traffic jams, and there's a lot of traffic going into the warehouses. Going to get a little busy. So over here we've got the different icons. It's pretty cool. This is outside of the towns. This is going out of town. There's a global trading market, so you have different prices. I don't know if the prices go up and down. I haven't been watching. These are all the products you can manufacture. So you can see that there is quite a lot, and they do have different tiers. So what happens with the tiers is that a small town takes tier 1, a medium town takes 1 and 2, a large town takes all 3 tiers, but they don't take everything. They take like 9 to 12 items out of the list. These are different routes. I don't see any. I haven't used that feature. These are different shops. Like, for example, these are different towns, and you can see that Spring Hill has 6 shops in it. So these are all the products that are going into Spring Hill. For the bookstore, it looks like there's only 6 items. And then a smaller town has 8 items going into one of the stores. That might be because of what tier it is. Like the bookstore might be a tier 2 bookstore. See that we got tall buildings. The buildings grow taller as the city expands. So if we go to another town, for example, over here, you see that the town has not expanded much yet. This is my warehouse over here. You can build adjacent to the town, and the town grows, and the town will start to grow around your property. I'm sure if we come over here to Spring Hill, you'll see that it's starting to grow around my property, which is the warehouse over here, and it's filling in all the spaces. So then we've got what's called the recipe book. This is how you manufacture everything. And you can get information about a product. For example, these are potatoes, and it shows that you can make 4 derivative products from potatoes, which are bags of chips, biofuel, cooked vegetables, and vodka. So then you have your statistics, which is going to tell you if something's not producing right. You're going to find out over here. You can make some adjustments. For example, if you want to raise a value, I think this is the page where you can go in and like over here, you can turn things on and off. And we've got production over a long period of time. I understand that everything's really small, but as the example I said, if you look at the profit over here, I can see that there's something wrong with apples. They're not making money. So that's how you know if there's a problem with your production. You've got 3 loans that you can take out. This, I guess it's supposed to graph everything out. I don't know why it's not graphing it out. There's the graphs. The graphs are not that great, obviously. There's other games that did a better job with the graphs. But it will show you obviously where the growth is. For example, over here we got Spring Hill, which has a lot of growth for me. The game has a regular play mode, where you have to earn money. It was very, very difficult. In this game, you have to play the game perfectly in order to make money. If you don't know how to play the game, you're going to be putting down a factory that's not making any money, then you're going to lose the game. You're going to go bankrupt, and you're not going to like it. So in the regular game mode, you cannot put a factory down. They're expensive if you can't make money from it. I'm playing in the sandbox mode, which has unlimited money. The game has autosave. It's got fast forward. So if you're playing the regular game and you're making money, you can fast forward it, go out and get something to eat, come back to make some money. You can take out loans. There's 3 loan levels. Like maybe the first one's 100,000, next one's 1 million, next one's 10 million, or something like that. So there's other games that I played. One was called Industry Giant and Industry Giant 2. It's a game that I played a long time ago, but it no longer runs on my computer. And this game is like I guess Cities in Motion. Not quite. This one, you're placing the buildings and the factories, and you're running the transportation system. Off the top of my head, Industry Giant 2 is the only game that comes to mind. Or like any sort of railroad game or things like that. There was other games like Industry Giant 2, but maybe one was called Transport Giant. Very old games. I love this game. I probably paid $14 for it. I highly recommend it. Um, the music is good. The icons are good, but it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass because look at this. All of these buildings are exactly the same. All you see, it's hard to distinguish individual buildings. You just see like a big blob of buildings. It's a little bit too much combined together. And the icons are not as helpful as you think they are. Like this is obviously storage full. Because obviously the storage is full. Over here you can see the storage is not full. What it means is that I need to transport things faster, obviously. The little graphics with the vehicles look really cute. This is going to be an example of where you got a traffic jam. We got vehicles that are trying to get out and they're having problems getting out because I didn't do a good job laying it down. So what I did was I had to make a parallel road to get these guys out faster. But getting in, you could have a traffic jam. And for example, so there's also layers. Let me see if I can find the layers. Okay, over here you can see you've got the traffic. So we got traffic jam over here, which means that there's going to be more pollution, which could cause the farm to stop working. This is what the pollution map looks like. That's really it. We got the truck queues. Let's see where the truck queues are. Okay, the truck queues, you see there was a truck over here. It had the number 3 next to it. What it does is it tells you how many trucks it's waiting for. So if the warehouse has a problem because the trucks can't get in or something like that, there's one over here. See over here it says 4. It means that there's a shortage of that many vehicles. And then we've got efficiency. That's how much you're spending. Product bubbles. Okay. That's the game. Like I said, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the $14. I spent all night long playing the game, and this is a long amount of gameplay to build all of this. It took many days. Let's say in a week is where I got to this point. Okay, this is like the game Banished, except for with the game Banished, you only have the roads and the boats. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can, I think you can use boats to transport stuff, but there's obviously no rail and no air. So if you like Banished, you're going to like this game. If you like kingdoms and castles, you're probably going to like this game. Okay, that's a game. There's no natural disaster or anything like that. This is an example of a rail bridge. I believe it's called a truss. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.